One of the things that we managers have to do, we all know this, is coach people. So Gary, let's talk about that a little bit, because I see a lot of managers, especially newer managers, their coaching style is like vomiting information onto a rep. And they literally say a million things, and they feel that this rep is going to internalize everything and go and act on it, and they've made the world of a difference on this person's life. And the rep is just scared. They're like, good grief, what do I do now? So let's talk about how coaching can be done right. If you have somebody come to you and say they have a sales rep on their team who's doing well, this rep is hitting target, but there's a gap in their game, and that is presenting proposals. If you were to scorecard it, this person is a 6 out of 10, and we want to take this person to an 8 out of 10 in 3 months. What type of program or what steps would you suggest they take to take this person from a 6 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10?
Well, the first thing I think we've all agreed is that you have to develop as early on in any sales organization a consistent, repeatable selling process. You know, how salespeople move from, prospecting to, to setting goals, to doing different things in the selling process, to closing, right? What are those steps? And we got to identify what awesome looks like. And once we've done that in a clear way, then we know how to coach people, how to move from each level in the selling process. So like the example you gave, they're having a problem in what area? What's it?
Presenting proposals.
Presenting proposals. So in doing that, I would look at what are the buyer verifiers. So a lot of sales organizations, you're really going to identify and help salespeople. A lot of salespeople say, I've done this, I got the proposal out, I'm now at this stage, in the third stage or fourth stage. But the reality is we want to couple those with buyer verifiers or trigger events. That is, you did this, what did the buyer? Because the buyer is the only one that gives you permission to move up to the next stage. So when you, first of all, to be a great selling coach, you have to know both areas. What did the rep do? What are those key activities? And what's the buyer verifier? What did the buyer say or do? And once I have coupled those together, I have more insights on how to coach that individual. So if he was having a problem in the selling process, I would look at how is he doing and what are the best practices in that area. And for example, we know that in coaching and sales, working with sales leaders, that often when they're making the proposal, they just send it to them. I sent them the proposal. Hey, now I'm just waiting for them to get back. No, you should never send it to them. You should provide it to them at the time you are interacting with them. So one of the easy things on Coaching Not is don't send the proposal, get the buyer on the phone and go over the proposal, right? And then you can get that feedback you need to change. So a lot of times they're going through the motions, but they're not doing the things to get the buyers to move forward. And so really coach them on that process. And we couple their activities with buyer verifiers, which gives you the insights on how to coach that specific situation and help them improve.
Can I add one thing, Asad, that I learned? I worked at Oracle for a long time, and we did some really great sort of professional development work. And one thing I learned early on as a manager was forecasting is separate than coaching. So you always try to, I'm sure, Gary, you guys talk about this all the time, and Wendy, you too, but very often managers are trying to coach through the forecast. Yeah. But not everything is deal specific. And when you're listening to the forecast, it's different than when you're listening and coaching, right? And you want to be coaching the whole person. The forecast is just one piece of their productivity. So if managers are not already sort of setting up their weeks like that, and coaching doesn't have to be every single week. The forecast, typically, you have to get updates every week. I would really encourage them to look at the system holistically and set up coaching cycles apart from forecasting meetings.
I agree wholeheartedly on that. We see that happen so often. They have one meeting, and that's the weekly forecasting meeting, and it's just called a one-on-one, and that's it.
I'd like to add something to that too about culture. Coaching can be in the culture, and it's not about we only coach at this time. We coach all the time.
Right.
One way we teach coaching is what questions. We say if you ask people what questions, it's an open-ended question like, what is success going to look like here? What's the biggest challenge going to be? And when people can align themselves to that, you can coach each other you can coach, you can coach your manager, you can coach your customer.
Mm-hmm.
And find, and this is not across the board, but when you ask a why question, sometimes it sounds like I'm judging you. Why did you do that? Even tone of voice is a big thing, but sometimes it can get in the way. And how we get in our head. So when we're trying to simplify for new managers how to learn coaching, it's really work on those what questions.
One of the best trainings I ever went through connected two of the things you just said. It was a coaching session on how to control your tone, volume, and pitch to connect with the customer and build rapport and move things along appropriately.